Good evening, everyone. The City of Troy welcomes you to the 45th Annual Appreciation Banquet. This event is held to recognize the time and efforts so generously given by the 170 volunteer firefighters for the protection of our city. We also extend a special thank you to the spouses and the Troy Firefighter Women's Auxiliary for their support. A round of applause for them, please. As the mayor of the city of Troy, I have the honor tonight to introduce some special guests that are here with us this evening and to start our program. And I think the most important special guests that we have here this evening are our volunteer firefighters. If I could get them to stand and be recognized, please. Thank you so much for your service to our city. It's because of you that we are the safest city in Michigan once again this year. Thank you so much for your efforts and everything you do for our city. The second most important people, but maybe probably on the same parallel as our current volunteers, are our retired volunteers that really set the foundation for the fire department here in the city of Troy. If I could get the retired volunteers to please stand and be recognized. Thank you so much for your service. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't even have a fire department today. And now I'm going to try to compete with the music from next door. I know those of you against the wall are probably having a hard time hearing, but it's also my pleasure to introduce some special guests that are here this evening. And if you were here last year, you'll remember that I did my introductions and I forgot to introduce my wife. So this year I'm going to make sure that I introduce my wife first because Brian Kishnick has never let me forget that. So my wife Judy is here this evening and take a thanks to you. Next, I would like to introduce Mayor Pro Tem Jim Campbell and his wife Nancy. Council Member Steve Gottlieb and his wife Jennifer. Councilwoman Ellen Hoderick and her husband Mike. Lori Bloom, our city attorney, is here with her husband Ken. And two of my special friends are here this evening, two past mayors who, in my opinion, set the foundation for what it is to be a true good mayor for the city of Troy. Louise Schilling is here, and Jeannie Stein, if I could get them to stand, please. And of course, I know Brian Kishnick, our current city manager, is here, but Frank Gershnicker, who set the foundation for city managers in the city of Troy, is here this evening, along with his wife, Jane. If you could stand, please, Frank. Thank you so much, Frank. And of course, our leader of our great fire department, Bill Nelson, and his wife, Doris, are here. Cindy Stewart, our Community Affairs Director, is here. I couldn't be without her. Thank you so much, Cindy, for all you do. And of course, my friend and buddy that I grew up on City Council with is here this evening, and she's gone on to be a district judge at 54 District Court. Maureen McGinnis is here. with her husband, Kevin Kleinsteiger. Maureen, where are you? And hopefully I've introduced everyone and not forgotten anybody this evening. So my next order of business is to introduce what I feel is the best city manager as mayor that I've ever had the opportunity to work for. He's done such a great job to turn our city around. When times were bad, Brian came in and his energy has been infectious. He's done such an outstanding job as a partner of mine and all of City Council. It's my pleasure to introduce the current city manager, Brian Kishner.
You can time it. Thank you, Mayor Slater. I'll try to be just a little bit louder so everybody can hear me, but I won't have a lot of enthusiasm tonight because I think we're way behind in this program. So I want to be very brief and get us back on schedule, as I've been telling them. And for those of you who were here last year, and even if you weren't, of course, Mayor Slater forgot to introduce his wife, Judy. So it would not be an event of this appreciation dinner, recognizing all the volunteers, if I didn't introduce Judy Slater. Please stand up, Judy, welcome. Thank you. And of course, my wife, Carrie Kishnick, who puts up with me every day. God bless her. So 75 years for the fire department, 60 years for the city of Troy, 45 years for this banquet. What a great thing for the city of Troy and the fire department. I just want to say, when I was thinking about this tonight and what I would say in the welcome, you know, it really has been the year of the fire department. And it's going to be the year of the fire department coming up with Fire Station 4, with the new pumper that's coming in, and the Volunteer Firefighter Incentive Program. I want to thank all those station reps, would you please stand, who worked with me on the incentive program. It was not easy and it wasn't quick. In fact, it took a long time. Stand up and give these guys a round of applause again. Peter, are you the only one here? Where's the hell? Where's everybody? There he is back there. So two of you came. Thanks for coming, guys. All right, so anyways, thanks to you guys. And also we were talking earlier at our table, you know, I've only been to this event. This is my second year. And that's because this event was canceled back when times got really tough and the city of Troy was in desperate measures for financial security. And it's this council 2 years ago, Maureen McGinnis was part of that. She may have been mayor for a minute during that time, who brought back this appreciation dinner a year ago. And this is so we could call it our 45th second annual. So let's hear it for the council. Let's give a round of applause for doing this. And Mayor, just a slight additional information on Frank Gerstenecker. He just didn't do it for Troy, set the foundation for city managers. He did it also for the state of Michigan and the Midwest, and if not the country. Frank Gerstenecker was one of the best city managers ever in the U.S., not just Michigan or Troy. With that, a guy I have the pleasure of working with for the last couple of years, a great fire chief, does wondrous things, is a class act, and Mr. Professional, Chief Nelson.
Thank you, Brian. I certainly appreciate it. This is kind of, in addition to our appreciation banquet, it's our birthday party for 75 years in the fire department. And what I'd really like to do is, first of all, is introduce our station assistant chiefs. Our station assistant chiefs are part of our management team. They provide the oversight and basically direction for the fire stations. And they make my job a whole lot easier because they really do an excellent job. From Station 1, Assistant Chief Dave Weaver and his wife Sharon. From Station 2, Assistant Chief Pete Dungeon and Zini. Station 3, Assistant Chief Chuck Reister and Sue. From Station 4, Assistant Chief Tony Pavian and Heidi. From Station 5, Assistant Chief Rich Bewick and Lisa. And from Station 6, Assistant Chief Joe McKay and Diana. The mayor already stole my thunder a little bit because I wanted to recognize our retired members. One of the things we did this year to try to commemorate our 75th anniversary was these picture shows that you see on each side. And Charlie Noonan actually spent a couple of days in the museum going through the old archives of photographs, trying to get some of the older photos and things like that. So one of the things I would like to do, though, is observe a moment of silence for all of our firefighters and retired firefighters that have passed away. So if we could do that now, thank you. Thank you. I'd like now to introduce, we have new firefighters. Every year we have a number of folks that retire or leave the fire service in Troy, and there are always someone to step in and take their place. From Station 1, Andrew Semenauer. From Station 3, Jared Battles and Jessica. And you can stand if you're here, please. Also from Station 3, Adam Bell and Samantha. Robert Cole. Mark Marce and Alicia. From Station 4, Jeffrey Oghe. Joseph Serino and Hannah. Michael Corey, and Keith Young from Station 4. And from Station 5, James Bologna and Daniel Del Mastro. Thank you and welcome to the Troy Fire Department, and we hope you have a rewarding career here. I'd like to ask Mayor Slater, Assistant Chief Roberts, and Technician Pete Hullinger to come up and assist with the awards, please. One of the things this year that is a little bit different, we had a little bit of a logistics challenge with our service pins, so all of our 5, 10, 15, 20-year service pin awardees are not going to receive their pin tonight, but we're going to go through the motion just like they were so that we can recognize them.
Our first presentation is for the recognition of those members who have retired in the past year. Lieutenant Jeff Otto from Station 2, 17 years. Also from Station 2, Assistant Chief John Milleron, 28 years. Is John here? From Station 3, Lieutenant Fred Reddick for 13 years. And from Station 8, Lieutenant Bill McNabb, 25 years. Our next presentation is recognition of service awards for 5 years on the fire department. From Station 1 is firefighter David Weaver III. Firefighter Michael Sawala. And firefighter Matt Adams. Also for 5 years from Station 2, firefighter Brian Otto. From Station 3, firefighter Ryan Crofus. And from Station 4, firefighter Vic Walsh. Also for 5 years at Station 4, firefighter Patrick Durham. Firefighter Brian Luther. Firefighter Spencer Moore. And firefighter Joshua Holland. Continuing on for the 5-year service awards from Station 6, firefighter Eric Kajewski. Firefighter Kevin Kleinsteiber. And firefighter Robert Gurney. Congratulations. For 10 years on the fire department, from Station 1, Lieutenant Walter Verbruggen. And firefighter Jason Voss. Congratulations. "10 years on the fire department from Station 2, Lieutenant Keith Coring. "10 years at Fire Station 3, Lieutenant Dan Marley. Congratulations.
Thank you.
For 10 years at Station 4, firefighter Michael Cleary. For 10 years at Station 5, firefighter James Roll and firefighter Dan Telfer. "10 years at Station 6, firefighter Rich Leach. Firefighter Andrew Satterfield. And firefighter Rick Bovensee. For 15 years on the fire department, from Station 2, firefighter Tom Cleary. Everybody sits in the back. They must know they're getting these awards or something. Yeah. And for 15 years at Station 4, firefighter Jim Hazen. Congratulations. Thank you. "15 years at Station 5, Lieutenant Adam Sanuko. And firefighter Christopher Huck. Congratulations. "15 years at Station 6, Lieutenant Ali Taki. For 25 years with the Troy Fire Department, from Station 8, Lieutenant Eric Kaloya. For 30 years at Station 2, firefighter Joel Barthlow. And also for 30 years at Station 2, firefighter Brian Verbruggen. For 30 years at Station 4, Assistant Chief Anthony Pabian. For 35 years with the fire department, from Station 5, firefighter Richard Posh. And for our final presentation, I'd like to ask the City Manager Brian Kishnick to come forward.
Tonight it's my honor to present this pin to a man that you all have known a long time. Fortunately for me, I've known him a couple of years, and he has been a true joy to work with. He is the consummate professional. He's the best in the business. He cares more than anybody about the Troy Fire Department, about fire departments in general. He is a class act, and for 40 years, we want to recognize Chief Bill Nelson. So before I let him say something, and I told him I got bad news, I think he's gonna have to say something. I wanted to tell him that we appreciate 40 years of his service, and that's the good news. And the bad news is he signed a paper in my office last week, and it means he's gonna work another 20 with me, so.
Thank you very much, Brian. I'm going to just make a short comment. It doesn't seem like 40 years, and a wise old person I knew once told me that if you have a job you love, you never work a day in your life. And I think that's pretty much sums it up for me. So thank you all for your recognition, and it certainly has been a pleasure to spend this time with the Troy Fire Department.
The next part of our presentation tonight is the Station Member of the Year. And from Station 1, we have Jeff Gifford. From Station 2, we have Lieutenant Rob Tyrell. From Station 3, we have Firefighter Ken Adams. Congratulations. From Station 4, Lieutenant Sean Hugg. From Station 5, Firefighter Dan Telfer. And from Station 6, Firefighter Bill Visnoff. I'd like to call Lieutenant Walter Verbruggen to the front of the room, please. Is Wally here? I can call him, but he's not coming. Okay. The next presentation is the Chief's Award of Excellence, and this is awarded to a Wally. In 1996, the Troy Fire Department, in cooperation with the Boy Scouts of America, sponsored an Explorer Post program in an effort to encourage high school teenagers to explore firefighting as a future career. Over the years, numerous explorers have in fact gone on to become firefighters, both as career and as volunteers. The Troy Fire Department has benefited greatly from this program in that 34 have become volunteer firefighters here in Troy, such as Ryan Wolf, Mike Corso, Matt Arnold, Mike Rusine, Damon Brown, Ken Adams, and John Roberts, to name a few. In fact, in addition to becoming a Troy volunteer firefighter, Matt and Damon have become career firefighters in Madison Heights, and John has become a public safety officer in Berkeley. The post's first advisor was Don Hudson. Don oversaw the post activities through training its members in various aspects of firefighting and coordinating the post's organization and fundraising efforts. As time went on, Don could no longer commit the time required as post advisor, so the role was transferred to Wally Verbruggen Jr. in 2012. Wally served over 2 years as Explorer Post 911 advisor, overseeing its ongoing success until 2014, when firefighter Brandon Hall took over as post advisor and continues in the position. For his extra time and effort spent in coordinating and managing Explorer Post 911 as post advisor and helping its success, a Chief's Award of Excellence is presented to Wally Verbruggen Jr. The next award we have to present is a Merit Service Award. At 11 a.m. on Monday, July 28, 2014, Rescue 4 was dispatched to the report of a dog trapped underneath a garage at 615 Trombley Street. The Troy police had received a call from the resident reporting she last saw her dog, a Schnauzer, the day before, and then heard the dog underneath the house on that Monday. Troy police arrived and requested Oakland County Animal Control, along with the fire department, to offer assistance with extricating the dog. Apparently, the dog had crawled into the crawl space, then through an opening in the foundation wall where it became trapped underneath the garage. Firefighters were unable to gain access to the dog through the crawl space, and the foundation footing was too thick and too deep to chisel through, so firefighters chose to remove a section of the concrete garage floor after obtaining permission from the homeowner. Using a jackhammer to break up and remove a 3 feet by 2 feet section of the floor, firefighters located and removed the dog, who was then turned over to its owner. While the TFD does not routinely respond to cats in trees or dogs under buildings for that matter, we have and will, if available, respond in a non-emergency manner to assist in removing pets from harm. We recognize that pets are members of a family, and in offering our assistance, we may prevent their owners from taking unnecessary risks themselves in an effort to effect a rescue attempt. For their actions taken in successfully locating and removing the dog from harm, a Merit Service Award is hereby presented to Firefighter George Hawes, Firefighter Brian Luther, Firefighter Andy Pounders, Staff Technician Pete Hollinger, Lieutenant Matt Arnold, Lieutenant Chris Miltimore, Staff Lieutenant Paul Firth, Station Assistant Chief Tony Pabian, and Station Assistant Chief Dave Weaver II. Congratulations. And if any of those people are here, you can please come forward. That's made you get out of your seat, wasn't it? Tony? I've asked Assistant Chief Tony Pabian to stay at the front. Our next Merit Service Award is for members at Station 4. At 7:47 p.m. on August 11th, 2014, the dispatch center began receiving calls of stranded motorists due to flooded roadways throughout the southeast portion of Troy, resulting from an unprecedented rainfall totaling over 5 inches, according to reports from the National Weather Service. While the rain event lasted approximately 10 hours from start to finish, the fire department responded to 32 flood-related incidents in a 5-hour period between 7:30 p.m. and 12:30 a.m., primarily in the area of 14 Mile, DeQuinder, Maple, John R., and Stevenson. During that time, firefighters from Station 4 rescued numerous occupants from vehicles at 17 separate incidents who had become stranded and trapped due to flooded roadways. Fortunately, there were no injuries reported as a result of any of these situations. To add to the uniqueness of the situation, at one point, Alliance Mobile Health, the city's EMS provider, had to be taken aboard Engine 4 to a residence for a medical emergency in order to get through flooded neighborhood streets. Firefighters also responded to reports of flooded basements and related electrical hazards in the 14 Mile and Stevenson area, but no fires resulted from these situations. This was an unusual situation for firefighters, as flooding of this nature is seldom experienced. For their actions taken in successfully reaching and removing citizens stranded by the flood, a Merit Service Award is hereby presented to those participating members from Station 4. For the sake of brevity, the Station Assistant Chief, Tony Pabian, is accepting the award on their behalf to be presented individually at a later time. The recipients, however, are Patrick Durham, Jim Hazen, Victor Walsh, Marty Verbruggen, Jason Carroll, Josh Holland, Sean Hugg, Spencer Moore, Tony, Mike Cleary, Zach Martin, Bill Heiner, and Keith Young. Congratulations. And now I'd like to call firefighter Hazen to the podium as well. While en route to Clawson on July 4, 2014 to participate in the annual Independence Day Parade, Engine 4 was struck by a vehicle operated by an unconscious woman. She struck the side of the engine in a sideswipe manner and slowly continued northbound on Crooks Road north of 14 Mile. Firefighters immediately exited the apparatus and began to give chase on foot. Upon reaching the vehicle, firefighters Hawes and Hazen broke out a window and entered the moving car with the unconscious driver in an attempt to stop it before it collided with oncoming southbound Crooks Road traffic or struck any pedestrians on the sidewalk. The car was successfully stopped and the female driver was tended to by paramedics from Alliance Mobile Health. Firefighter Hazen received a minor cut on his right forearm during the incident and later sought medical treatment. For their quick actions to stop a moving vehicle with an unconscious driver and thereby preventing a potentially serious collision from occurring with oncoming traffic or with pedestrians on the sidewalk, a departmental unit citation is awarded to firefighter George Hawes, firefighter Jim Hazen, Lieutenant Matt Arnold, and Station Assistant Chief Tony Pavia. Tony, before you sit down, I'd like to call Assistant Chief Dave Weaver, Assistant Chief Chuck Reister to the podium. At 2:43 a.m. on December 25th, 2014, Christmas morning, fire stations 3 and 4 were dispatched to the report of a structure fire at 1539 Kurtz Boulevard at the Somerset Park Apartments. Upon arrival, firefighters encountered a multi-unit, 2-story occupied apartment building with heavy black smoke and fire showing from the first floor apartment, extending up the exterior to the apartment above. At least 2 neighboring residents were evacuating the building by hanging off of their second floor balconies and dropping to the ground as firefighters arrived on scene. Firefighters entered the building to extinguish the fire and conduct searches of the remaining apartments and encountered extreme heat accompanied by heavy smoke conditions. The incident was upgraded to a second alarm, bringing Station 1 to the scene to assist, along with additional EMS units from Alliance Mobile Health. Firefighters were able to extinguish the fire just as it was spreading from the second floor apartment and balcony into the attic space above, further threatening the entire building. Firefighters simultaneously completed primary and secondary searches of all 8 apartments for any remaining occupants, and no one was located. The fire started in the kitchen of the apartment. The occupant of the fire apartment, an elderly female, was alerted to the fire by her smoke detector, which allowed her time to evacuate and notify her neighbor, who then called 911 to report the fire. She was evaluated on scene by Alliance Mobile Health and then transported to Beaumont Hospital, Royal Oak, for further evaluation. The Salvation Army was notified with housing, to assist with housing for the occupant and approximately 8 other displaced occupants. In all, 32 firefighters worked at this incident to extinguish the fire in just over 3 hours. For their actions taken in effectively confining and extinguishing the fire and preventing fire from spreading throughout the entire structure, a departmental unit citation is hereby presented to those participating members from Stations 3, 4, and 1. For the sake of brevity, these station assistant chiefs are accepting the awards on their behalf to be presented individually at a later time. The recipients, however, are, and I'll read through them rather quickly, from Station 1, Matt Adams, John Collins, Jason Dahlbeck, Randy Kurth, Randy Odgers, Tom O'Haron, Drew Sackner, Steve Schwartz, Jason Voss, Dave Weaver II, Dave Weaver III, and Ryan Wolf. From Station 3, Ken Adams, Dave Basil, Peter Boyle, Matt Glimbaki, Dave Hewson, Dan Marley, Randy Olson, and Chuck Reister. From Station 4, Ben Cameron, Mike Cleary, Patrick Durham, Sean Hugg, Andy Pounders, Marty Verbruggen, Victor Walsh, and Keith Young. And from Station 8, Eric Kaloya, Paul Firth, and Tanya Perry. Congratulations.
Everybody sit down now.
I'm so proud of you. Yeah, now you can sit down.
Yeah.
Would Ali Taki come forward, please? I am pleased to announce that Lieutenant Ali Taki, assigned to Fire Station 6, has been selected as Firefighter of the Year for 2015. Lieutenant Taki has been a member of the fire department for 18 years. He was promoted to lieutenant in 2012. During his service with the department, Lieutenant Taki has routinely performed his duties in an exemplary manner. He consistently volunteers to assist with special projects and programs. He is one of 4 physicians in Michigan who are members of the Michigan Task Force 1, which is a specially equipped and trained urban search and rescue unit that responds to structural collapses in heavy concrete and steel buildings. He was inspired to volunteer for the USAR task force by being a member of the Troy Fire Department response to the World Trade Center incident on September 11th, 2001. Lieutenant Taki has received multiple meritorious service awards and commendations for his actions at incidents and his volunteer efforts. He received awards from the Troy Police and Fire Departments for his actions in providing emergency care for a Bloomfield Township police officer that was critically injured in a vehicle crash on I-75 to which Station 6 responded. Lieutenant Taki's volunteer activities extend well beyond Troy. On several occasions, he has volunteered to travel to Sudan with a group of physicians that perform cleft palate repair surgery for Sudanese children. He and his family contribute their time and effort to help make the annual Fire Department Children's Christmas Party a success. He was recently recognized by the Muslim community as one of the 10 outstanding people in the community. Lieutenant Taki is a physician specializing in emergency medicine as a member of the Independent Emergency Physicians Group, which provides services to St. Joseph Mercy Hospital in Pontiac and Providence Hospital in Southfield. Ali resides in Troy with his wife Amina and sons Kazim, Zain, and Essa. Congratulations.
One thing I'd like to do before I have some closing comments, I'd like to recognize Jim Halsey and Shar. Jim, as we all know, was chief and has been with the fire department for many, many years. And believe it or not, having been chief for 20 years or more, I still call him on occasion to ask him questions about why we do something or why something or how something happened way back when or whatever. But Jim, I'd like you to stand up and just be recognized. I'd like to say Jim created a culture of leadership in the fire department with all of his activities involved with the International Association of Fire Chiefs and Michigan Fire Chiefs and all those groups, and led me to basically become involved with a lot of those groups as well. While many things have changed over the past 75 years, the apparatus you saw when you walked in the building, the 1940 Ford on one side and a 2014 Pierce Puck on the other side, those things have changed. The protective equipment has changed, as you saw on the display out in front. Things that haven't changed are the dedication and the commitment of our firefighters. People in 1940 had that same love of the community and that same dedication as the folks that we have today. On behalf of the members of the fire department, I'd like to thank the mayor and the city council for their outstanding support of the fire department. I'd like to thank the city manager and the city staff for their support and assistance. And I'd like to thank the officers and the firefighters of the Troy Fire Department for your dedication and service, and our administrative staff for their efforts and support of our department over the last year. I'd like to recognize our office staff, Shirley Shepard and Carrie Messina, for their efforts and efficiency. And I'd like to thank the Troy Firefighters Auxiliary, they're changing their name a little bit, for their service to the department and the community over the past year and for decades in the past. Last but not least, I want to thank the firefighter spouses and significant others, especially my wife Doris. For their support and sacrifices, they're the ones that are left in the restaurants, the movie theaters, the stores, and the family events when the firefighters respond to calls. I'd like to thank Cindy Stewart for her efforts in organizing the banquet this evening, and I'd like to thank technicians Hullinger, Roberts, and Noonan for the apparatus and personal protective displays, and especially for the photo albums that we've been able to look at all evening. Remember that we've shortened... Thank you. Remember that while we have a mission statement that talks about basically what we do and why we do it, remember that our basic objectives are to prevent harm, be nice, and survive. And that really is what it's all about. Thank you and have an enjoyable evening.